Okay, we're going to try and deal with more than one question, and we're going to fix a problem that we had. So if I go to the page as it was, it's offering me these things here, and we notice that the radio buttons all work nicely. But I want to look in detail at the name we gave them. So if I right click and look at the name of the radio button, you see the name of the radio button is CSN 08101 underscore Q1. Now that Q1 is wrong. It should actually be Q 1.1. So if I look at index.html, this is where I'm putting in Q1, and what I should be doing is Q 1.1 because that's how they've been named in the database. But this causes another problem, and we're going to see that. So I'll write that out, and I'll reload this page, and I will update these things. And these now have got a better name. So if I right click on this radio button and inspect, you can see its name is now CSN 08101 underscore Q1.1, which is fine. But now we have a problem. When I submit, can you see the variable that came across was things like Q underscore 1.1, but when PHP sees it, that 1.1 gets turned into 1 underscore 1. And I don't know why that's happening. Here's the page that's picking it up. So VI, was it store? I think it was store feedback. What's happening is I have a loop here which runs over the request input, key and value. And here I'm printing out LIK and LIV. That's the key and the value. And here's my key. It definitely says underscore Q, and then that 1.1 has turned in, that what was 1.1 has now become 1 underscore 1. Now, I'm not sure why that's happening, if it's a standard, or if it's a quirk of PHP, or if it's a quirk of CGI. But I'm nervous about it and I don't like it. What I'm going to do is do some more careful coding. So instead of outputting 1.1, I'm going to output my variable names are going to say, well, what I want to do is to encode this dot somehow, and I can do it any number of ways, but I'm going to change a dot into a D. Okay, so instead of a dot, I'm going to put the character D in. So that's what I'm going to transmit, and I'm going to do the translation. I'm going to turn those D's back into dots at the other end. So I'll write that out, go back to here, reload, check on what that is, inspect, and that is 1D1. And now at the page that picks up that output, which is this one here, here's me running over the loop. I'm going to try and replace that underscore with a dot. So that's my key and value. What I want to do is to put a dot back in where I had a D previously. So I'm going to say $K equals, and we used preg match before, and I'm going to do preg replace. $Q, nope, $K. I'm going to find a D and I'm going to replace it with a dot. Okay, and let's see if that works. So I'm sending across something odd and I'm decoding it at the other end. So one end I change the dots into a D, and at the other end I'm going to change the D's back into a dot. Let's see if that works. So let's pick these and submit. Preg replace, delimiter must not be alphanumeric \. Let me just check on that. Okay, I've got my preg replace wrong. You put the thing you're looking for first, the thing you're going to replace with second, and then you put in the thing that you're changing. So I just checked the syntax for preg replace there. Let's reload. Still not liking it. Yeah, it's more complicated than that. To do a replacement, you've got to have slashes in there. Try again. Okay, let's try that. That's looking better. Good. Okay, so we were sending 1D1 and we're changing into 1.1. We are separating these things out. We're doing the insert. Everything is fine. Let's just check. So I want to look at the data. Let's duplicate that session. and I want to see what my data is looking like, ~mysql, and select start from insres, where SPR code equals 502000 Tammy, and those are the values they've been put in right. That's nice. Now, next problem is if I go back and I try and do it again, which should be perfectly legal. This time Tammy's in a better mood and she definitely agrees with everything. Let's submit that, and I get execute error. And let's see if we can investigate that execute error. So where's my execute error? Bind error, and execute error is coming up here. Let's see if we can get some more information out of that. $, I think it's con error will give me the last error that happened on the connection, and reload. It's time to do a duplicate. The problem is we've got a primary key on this. If you try and enter the same data twice, then you quite rightly get this error. Well, we can fix that. We can delete from insres where SPR code equals that. And now I can rerun my query and it works okay. Okay, but in general, we need a policy. We don't want the user to see these errors. There's a number of things we could do. The simplest thing to do would be when you get a response from a student, you just delete what it was before you put it in. Okay, so we're running 2 SQL queries now. We do a delete just before we do the insert. Having 2 SQL statements going at the same time, that's going to be tricky. Not sure if I need a new connection for that. I'm tempted just to splat it. So this is one SQL statement. Before I do that, I could do the delete. So I could have a statement like this: SQL select equals delete from ins res where SPR code equals question mark. So what we're going to do is just trash the user's responses before we add any new in. That'll stop the error. It's a bit of a sledgehammer, this one. Let's protect it a little bit. And AYR code equals, I don't like this, I'm hard coding in values I really shouldn't. And PSL code equals TR1. So this code really only works 1 year. We're going to redo it next year completely, but I just don't want to deal with these issues right now. So the rest of the stuff's good. I'm going to prepare the statement and I'm going to bind. The bind is a little bit simpler this time, so I'm only binding 1 parameter. So that's going out, and the only parameter I'm binding is the U parameter that I got for the username. So that's okay, and then I'm going to do 1 execute. What does the execute look like? The execute just goes $statement execute or die, failed to delete. And what the heck, let's put in what it is, $con error, just in case that happens. We're not expecting an error there. So I'm just going to put in a comment. I don't have a lot of comments, you'll have noticed. Delete all records before inserting new ones. Possibly a bad decision to do. Stop being bad. And one day we will stop being bad. Let's see if that's fixed our error in a SPL code. Yeah, it's defensive programming is working out. You can see I got caught by one of these error messages I put in, and I'm looking for SPL code. There it is there. It's PLS code. That's not PLS code. What is it? It's PRS. No, that's personnel. It's PSL. That's what it is. I know these off by heart. He lied. Okay, so now I can reload that as often as I like, and it'll just splat out what was there before and put in the new values. Okay, we'll go back, and Tammy can change her mind. She's slightly less enthusiastic now. Submit that and see if that worked. Yep, she's down to a 4 everywhere. Okay, so we've fixed a couple of errors. We haven't, as I promised, and we're not dealing with 2 questions yet. Let's try a second question. So that's not in here. My second questions crop up here. Staff are good at explaining things. That's one div. I'm going to just copy and paste that and try and deal with the second question. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 lines. So I'm going to put in a blank one here. And then I'm going to do 11y to yank. And then I'm going to paste. This is definitely a bad thing to do. Please answer questions about that. Oh, no. I copied and pasted too much. I don't want to repeat this about modules. This is my next question, and I should take out that guy there as well. So staff are good at explaining things. Second question is, his jokes made me laugh. Okay, so this is question 1.2. Okay, so now we've got 2 questions. Let's go back and reload. Staff are going to explain things. His joke, that's a bit sexist, it might be a woman. Her jokes made me laugh. That's much better. Reload. Excellent. So now Tammy can agree and disagree about each of these modules as much as she likes. Let's run that. Okay, it's looking good. Let's see. Okay, that seems to be good. We've got 6 answers and 6 questions. You'll have noticed I'm just writing these questions out, and it would be much better if we got them from a database and we used a loop. The questions are in the database. I think I'm still going to leave you to do that stuff. Okay.